two speakers to briefly say something and then we will conclude. I'm sorry, most of you are journalists. I have some thanks quickly, Aman Rasul sir. Otherwise, I will not.
Excellency, Mia Rabbani Sahab and other members of the Pakistan Senate of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, learned friends and members of the press. To be brief, this devolution, unanimity, achievement is a landmark happening in the country, in the tormented country of Pakistan. But I just give you one example. When I was at Sherpao, and Chairman Bhutto was also there, as a youngster, a young comrade, I said in those days that mills of tyranny are controlled from Washington. In fact, the enemy of devolution, development, democracy came from Washington. And even this devolution, if at all the provinces, Balochistan was bombed during all the regimes. The Pakhtunkhwa suffered, the poor people of Punjab, for example, look at the cultivators, look at the peasants, look at the tillers, look at the serfdom. कोई पाकिस्तान में वही लीडर है जो रोल्स रॉयस से उतरता, या वही लीडर है जो करोड़ 2 करोड़ 1 खरब रुपया बनाए. अब इस रीत को खत्म करना होगा. What I want to say, a great parliamentarian is here. His father was aide to the great Quaid-e-Azam, and now he is perhaps fulfilling that heritage. The thing is this, along with devolution, there are some brilliant minds, you know. I'm a keen observer. I keep on watching Khatak Saab. Ajmal Khatak and Wali Khan was with me in jail, Gujarat jail. So, the thing is this, Article 3 of the Pakistan Constitution, together with anti-imperialist unity in practice, in foreign policy as well as in economic policy, that will be the real bridge builder. You see, that will be. If you say, you know, 1973 Constitution was there. And what about Article 3? Why did they hang? Why did they kill Lumumba? Why did they kill in Nigeria, my friend, third world leader, Solidarity leader, he knows why Sarawiwa in Nigeria was hanged by the military. It is the struggle for resources. We refuse to salute United States of America as the God of Earth. No. It is not on the basis of religion. It is on secular basis. It is on democratic basis. So, sir, I pay you tribute. And there have been Robin Cook in this country. This is a great country. Only I give you one example. This is a democratic country. You are sitting in a democratic institution. When there is devolution here, when you violate the principles of anti-imperialism, you go undemocratic. When Tony Blair became a lapdog poodle of the United States of America, he destroyed devolution in this country. He damaged democracy. Now, what do we have? Let me give you a new word. Take it to Pakistan. Now, in Pakistan you have elitocracy. Finish it, slaughter it, no elitocracy. No more elites. But what we are having in the West, American imperialism, ladies and gentlemen, is on that bed. And we now have a system, bankruptocracy, as Allama Iqbal long ago said, कि गिरजों से बढ़ के हैं बैंकों की इमारत. तो खुदा के लिए पाकिस्तान में गरीब दहकान सब अपना मुहासबा करें. कोई मुहासबा से ऊपर नहीं है. अगर हजरत उमर, मैं मजहबी आदमी नहीं हूँ लेकिन मुसलमान हूँ, बाबा कोई ये नहीं है कि जो ब्यूक से उतरे वो लीडर हो. इनको जूते मारे, पूछे कि तुम्हारा पैसा कहाँ से आया है.
Thank you very much. तारिक महमूद ने 2 शेर कहने चुके, उन्होंने अल्लामा इकबाल का शेर का जल्दी
जिंदगी से हर खुशी अब गैर हाजिर हो गई. जिंदगी से हर खुशी अब गैर हाजिर हो गई. एक शक्कर होना थी बाकी वो भी आखिर हो गई। दुश्मनी ने काट दी सरहद पर अपनी जिंदगी, दोस्ती कराची में रहकर महाजिर हो गई। बदन में दौड़ता सारा लहू ईमान वाला है, मगर जालिम समझता है कि ये तालिबान वाला है। जुल्म और जबर की पहचान मिटा कर रख दे, अब भी हम चाहें तो कोहराम मचा कर रख दे। खुश्क तिकों की तरह बिखरे हुए हैं हम लोग, एक हो जाए तो दुनिया को भुला कर रख दे। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद।
इमरान मीर साहब, बहुत मुश्किल होगा, इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट। डॉक्टर जुवैद शेख साहब, आप जल्दी से, आप सॉरी।
We all know that devolution is good. You've done a wonderful job. Congratulations. And I think it's a big achievement. But there are certain departments that if you devolve to the provinces, one comes to mind is the education. Now, people will have different curriculums in different provinces. They will have different universities, different examinations.
मानला खान साहब, आप जरा दूसरों को सुनिए।
And then degrees will be of different value. We already have problems here, like in medicine, that people coming from Allama Iqbal is not respected as much as in medical people and the other. So if you develop the education, are we not creating problems for the future generations?
Thank you, Dr. Juwayed sir. We will, Manla Khan sir, when you have spoken, now let other people speak as well, please.
I am.
Thank you very much. You are very kind. You are always kind. There are many very senior politicians sitting here, and I am not inviting them to speak. I've just allowed you to speak because I know you
Thanks a
can't
lot.
control yourself, but now please control. I know we are comrades and I can speak your language as well. Now I will ask the President of Pakistan People's Party, UK, elected President, Hassan Bukhari, to represent everybody from People's Party who is sitting here, and I will thank you all. Hassan Bukhari.
Thank you, Rashad sir. First of all, can I congratulate you for continuously inviting people here and holding important debates. And also, I mean, I did not know that Rizwan sir was here and gone back. So I have to really thank you. Secondly, I'm really honored to be sitting here with Razak Banu and Abbas Al Patel. They might be from different political parties, but I know that they have got a lot in common. They both are great Democrats. They both believe in federation of Pakistan with the local regions and what we call provinces having lots of rights, which they both jointly work. But more than that, some of the sentiments expressed by Amanullah Khan, I know that they are the actual flag bearer of those very sentiments. They have fought throughout their lives for social justice in Pakistan, for the rights of peasantry, for the rights of working class, for the rights of ordinary people. And I think it's that part of their life, I do know, that which really, and I think we're lucky. We are lucky to have in Pakistan, in our parliament, in our some great institutions, people like Razak Bani and people like Al-Fasiyat Patel, who actually still give us some hope. And I think that's the kind of thing we really need to remember. I think that I don't want to say many things. Razak Bani sahab have already, I think that we talked about the 5th of July. Another bunch of in great detail mentioned that it's the actual military dictatorships, it's the intervention by the civil military bureaucrats, supported by the feudal lords in Pakistan, actually, that we are where we are in Pakistan today. We are poor, we are backward, we are uneducated, ignorant. Okay, we have got millions of children, young children who can't even go to school. We are known in the world like a terrorist nation. All of that is because of we have not let democracy work in Pakistan. We have not let Pakistani young people to actually go to achieve education, Pakistani people to actually perform their democratic and basic rights in Pakistan, and we are backward. There's no two ways. It's my government, party's government there, People's Party's government there, and I do think that some of the great things which current Parliament and the National Assembly have done, there's a lot more to be done. We still have to assert control on the actual, on all other bodies in Pakistan, including army, including other civil bureaucracy. We got a lot of reforms to do yet to have a proper democracy. I think we are on the right road. We have a long way to go. But I think that some of the constitutional amendment we talked about, they were the cornerstone. They had to, without them we couldn't go anywhere. And I think that Raza Rabbani Sahib have also rightly reminded us that they were actually, and I have to say that here today, that they were actually part of the agreement when Mohtamma Benazir Bhutto led Charter of Democracy. It was part and parcel of Charter of Democracy. People very conveniently forget. And I think we cannot, when we are talking about the great achievements of the Parliament, great achievements of the Constitutional Committee led by Raza Rabbani and quite ably supported by people like Afra Siab Khattak, we cannot forget that sacrifices which Zulfikar Ali Bhutto on this day gave. It was his government which was toppled by a military dictator, and also Mohtamma Benazir Bhutto, who rightly was called Shaheed-e-Jamhuriyat in Pakistan, because she gave her life to achieve those objectives for which today some of our parliamentarians and our great leaders are actually working. So, but I have to say that the sentiments expressed by Amanullah, I'm going to finish with that, are very important. We still got to get a lot of basic rights to our ordinary people. We still have to give them education, we have to give them jobs, we have to finish the injustice in Pakistan, and we talked about parliament and legal freedom and big courts and all that. That freedom has not yet gone to the local, that person in Kamuke and Sohaba. They still go to courts and have to pay a lot of bribes to actually get anything from that clerk and munshi. So we're still far away from actually delivering those very basic rights to ordinary people of Pakistan. That's our goal, that's what we're doing.
Actually, the day before yesterday, on 5th of July, we had another lecture. The lecture was delivered by Muhammad Sarwar Bari, who is the director of Patna. And he spoke about constitution, that in Pakistan, the exploitation has been finished constitutionally and legally. It has not been implemented. You mentioned Article 3, you mentioned Article 6. These are not being mentioned. Please sit down now, Mandrasan. I know we are all experts of constitution and we have a lot to say. Abdul Ghaffar Azam sir, please, brief.
Great expert is sitting by you today.
Yeah. So listen to him.
Very technical constitutional question.
Very good.
Yes, sir. All due credit, congratulations for the 18th Amendment. Really, it's a fresh start. But one fundamental thing, which George Washington, Chief Justice Marshall, and that is judicial review, on which they built the American constitutional history. Hasn't been given any of the constitution we were expecting in the 18th Amendment. The independence of the judiciary cannot be secured until there is the provision of judicial review. And even the 18th Amendment lacked it. Unlike American Constitution, Indian Constitution, Article 13 gives that by the judiciary is so powerful. So why?
Thank you very much. Actually, there is a food and a drink, and I don't want to waste it. Third World Solidarity is based on contributions from our members, and those members are very poor. So if we waste that food, that means we have exploited them. Raza Rabbani Sahib and Afra Siab Khattak are here, they will speak to you during that, mingle around, and they will give you time. I want to thank the journalists who have come in a big number. Iftikhar Kaisar Sahib, Majaz Khan Sahib. मैं सर मैं उनको कहने वाला हूँ, आप allow me please. There are a lot of people.
Let me ask you.
Mahfouz Malak Sahib, do you ask? I think.
It's not a very long question. I think Senator Raza and Asiab are quite competent to answer my question. And who would be more, aware of these nitty-gritties of civil-military relations than Afra Siab Khattak and Raza. First question is whether you have resolved the major issues of civil-military relations in Pakistan. Whether it is the 18th Amendment or 19th Amendment, I am not concerned about that. If those questions are resolved, then probably we have some way of hope. Second question, particularly from Raza, that who is the ideologue after Benazir Bhutto? Is Raza Rabbani or Babar Awan and Rahman Malik?
Thank you very much, Malak Sahib. You have asked a question which I think might take very long time to resolve, but I will ask both gentlemen to respond briefly to these couple of comments. Education, when devolution happened, Dr. Javed Saab, things developed into a consensus, and then they will, but I think I will ask them to respond to one, two, I'm sorry, later on you can talk to both gentlemen, I think it will be a good idea. But I want to thank the journalists who have taken time to come here, and they will be reporting it. And there will be many debates, Malak Saab, on this issue. 180 million people in Pakistan are still suffering. Only millions are who are screaming off whether they are in one end or the other. Can I first ask Afraz Saab, Khatak Saab to say a few words on the Malak Saab question?
बड़ी मेहरबानी। एजुकेशन की बात की है, इस पे बड़ी डिबेट हुई है। ये ऐसी बात नहीं कि अचानक हमने सोचा कि बस ये रिवॉल्व कर दें, करिकुलम की भी डिबेट की। देखिए, नेशन बिल्डिंग और स्टेट बिल्डिंग के प्रोजेक्ट के दो मॉडल, एक कॉलोनियल है जो बंदूक की नाली से कौमें और ममलिकतें बनाना, जैसे अंग्रेज आए या अमरीका ने किया और इस्तेमाल करना। एक मॉडल है और जिसको हमारे डिक्टेटर्स ने भी अपनाया, उन्होंने भी ये जारी रखा। दूसरा मॉडल है डेमोक्रेटिक, कंसेंट बेस्ड, इंक्लूसिव और कंसेंसस बेस्ड। पहला मॉडल हमारे यहाँ नाकाम हो गया। ये जो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान के लोग अलग हुए थे, उन्होंने कोई अलग करिकुलम नहीं पढ़ा था, वो गुमराह हो गए थे। हमारा करिकुलम इस तरह सेंट्रलाइज था कि वो रिलेट नहीं कर सकते थे उसके साथ। ये जो बलूचिस्तान में आज लोगों ने हमारे कौमी झंडे स्कूलों से उतारे हैं, इसलिए नहीं उतारे कि उनको अलग करिकुलम उन्होंने पढ़ा, बल्कि ये जो हमारा करिकुलम है इसमें उनको अपना चेहरा नजर नहीं आता। तो लेट्स हैव नेशनल करिकुलम, रियल नेशनल करिकुलम, और तो थोड़ा सा सूबों को ट्रस्ट करें। सूबे देखना है तो सूबे पाकिस्तान में, और इंशाल्लाह वो दिखा देंगे कि वो कितनी जिम्मेदारी से काम करते हैं। एक और बात मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि ये यहाँ लिखा गया, मैं समझता हूँ कि इसमें आप इस तरह से देखें कि ये विन विन सिचुएशन सूबों के लिए भी और फेडरेशन के लिए भी। सूबों के लिए इसलिए कि वो मुख्तदर हो गए हैं, उनको इख्तियारात मिले, वसाइल मिले, लेकिन मरकज़ के लिए, फेडरेशन के इसलिए कि इसके बाद अगर सूबे तरक्की नहीं कर सकेंगे तो कोई इस्लामाबाद को दोष नहीं दे सके। फिर वो सूबों की अपनी नालायकी होगी या उनकी लीडरशिप की नालायकी और उनका एहतसाब होना चाहिए, लेकिन पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ कोई बात नहीं कर सकेगा। तो आगे उनके खिलाफ देख रहे हो बात करने बाद पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ बात करेगा, लेकिन इसको और ना, ये तो गुजर गया है। मैं आपको यकीन दिलाता हूँ कि इससे अगर कोई पॉकेट्स थे सेंट्रीफ्यूगल सेंटीमेंट्स के, वहाँ भी डिफ्यूजन हो, वहाँ भी मैं आपको यकीन दिलाता हूँ कि सूरत-ए-हाल बिल्कुल तब्दील हो जाएगी। और आप देख लेंगे इंशाल्लाह कि इससे नेशनल बिल्डिंग का प्रोजेक्ट, पाकिस्तान का स्टेट बिल्डिंग का प्रोजेक्ट, ये आगे बढ़ेगा। लेकिन डाइवर्सिटी को रिकग्नाइज करें, वो उससे हार्मनी पैदा होती है। आप उसको नेगेटिवली प्रोवोक करें, उससे डिसहार्मनी पैदा होती है। और हमारे साथ मैं जो कमेटी भी क्या है, ये जो 21 फरवरी का दिन मनाती है यूनेस्को मदर्स डे, मदर लैंग्वेजेस डे, इंटरनेशनल डे मनाती है, वो क्यों? वाई 21 फरवरी, 21 मार्च नहीं, 21 अप्रैल नहीं, इसलिए कि 21 फरवरी 1953 को हमारे सिक्योरिटी के इदारों ने गोली चलाई ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी में। बंगाली जुबान पे मुतालबा करने वाले नौजवान उसमें मारे गए और शहीद हो गए थे। उनके अब भी एक यादगार था कि उसमें भी आई हैव द ऑनर, मैं भी उसको यादगार। गुजारिश ये है कि उन्होंने, और उसके बाद वफा टूट गया, तो यूनेस्को ने ये दिन मनाया ताकि बाकी दुनिया इबरत हासिल करे। ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, बाकी दुनिया हमारे गलती से इबरत हासिल करे और हम इबरत हासिल नहीं करें। तो इट्स राइट टाइम कि हम इस डाइवर्सिटी को रिकग्नाइज करें। और मैं आपको यकीन दिलाता हूँ कि इससे हाथ नहीं बढ़ेगा, बस कुतुबा का नाम आ गया, पाकिस्तान के नक्शे में अपना नाम अपना डाल दिया है, इससे बहुत मजबूत हो गया है। हम ज्यादा रिलेट हो गए, ज्यादा इंटीग्रेट हो गए। लिहाजा बलूचिस्तान के बारे में मुझे यकीन है और प्रोग्राम है कि हम जाएंगे कोटा में, एक सेमिनार करेंगे और 18 अमेंडमेंट की वजाहत करेंगे। इंटेलेक्चुअल जो उनके सामने हम जाएंगे और मुझे यकीन है कि डायलॉग होगा, मुझे यकीन है कि डिफ्यूजन होगा। और थोड़ा सा आखिरी बात भी कह सकता हूँ, ऐसा आखिरी बात ये देखिए, पाकिस्तान के बारे में नेगेटिव प्रोजेक्शन कितनी है। ठीक है, टेररिज्म है मसला, और संगीन मसला है, लेकिन जो पाकिस्तान की कामयाबियाँ हैं, जो मस्बत चीज़ें हैं, उससे कोई जगह नहीं। देखिए, आप एक कौम के तौर पर आपने साबित किया कि आप बाइबल है, 73 का आईन आपने बनाया, अब ये 21 अमेंडमेंट आपने सारे इत्तेफाक राय से आप ले आए, ये कितनी बड़ी अचीवमेंट है। अच्छा, फिर आपकी मीडिया है, आपकी अदलिया है, आपकी वाइब्रेंट सिविल सोसाइटी उभर रही है। और ये जो दोस्त ने पूछा सिविल रेगुलेशन, देखिए उसका आइन से इतना ताल्लुक नहीं है जितना पॉलिटिकल बैलेंस ऑफ फोर्सेस जो ग्राउंड पे है उससे। और उसमें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात यह है कि कि पाकिस्तान में जब भी मेरिट रूल खत्म होता है तो एक लंबा ट्रांजिशन चलता है। इट्स लॉन्ग एंड कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, टाइम्स कंट्रोडिक्ट, लेकिन मुझे यकीन है कि इंशाल्लाह ये ट्रांजिशन लीड, इस तरह का ट्रांजिशन जो है ये पीछे नहीं हटेगा इंशाल्लाह। आप देखेंगे पाकिस्तान जमहूरियत का बोलबाला होगा। और मैं अपनी बात करूँगा अभी जालिब की शेर से खत्म करूँगा ताकि कोई तसल्ली मेरी भी हो जाए, आपकी हो जाए। उसने कहा कि मेरे हाथ में कलम है, मेरे जहन में उजाला, मुझे क्या दबा सकेगा कोई जुल्मतों का पाला, मुझे फिक्र अमर आलम, तुझे अपनी जात का हम, मैं तलू हो रहा हूँ तू गुरु
खटर साहब, हम भी यहाँ पे बलोचिस्तान पे कॉन्फ्रेंस सितंबर में कर रहे हैं, वो हमारे मामला गिथी साहब, फजीला आलियानी वो आए हुए हैं, उसमें आप सबको फिर जरूरत देंगे। जी रजा रबानी साहब।
जी बहुत साथ में सबसे पहले डॉक्टर साहब का जो सवाल था, एजुकेशन था, उसमें डॉक्टर साहब आई थिंक डॉक्टर साहब has already answered it at length from one perspective. The other perspective is that since 1973, if you look at it from a legal point of view, Islamabad had encroached upon education, because education was a residuary subject, and the 1973 Constitution provided under Article 143 that all residuary subjects would rest with the provinces. The federal government would be able to legislate on those items which were present in the federal legislative list, Part 1 and Part 2, in which education was not there. The concurrent list at item perhaps 38 or 35, if I remember correctly, limited education to curriculum, centers of excellence, and syllabus. Now that was the extent to which it was present in the Constitution in the concurrent list. So in any case, the massive empire that had been formed in the shape of the education industry was a usurpation of the rights of the provinces from day one, number one. Number two, that the concurrent list explicitly provided for curriculum, centers of excellence, and syllabus. So once the concurrent list was abolished, all of these things went down with it. Now, if we were at this stage, there was an alternative available, like he said, that we discussed this in detail, that had we not sent this down at that stage, yes, it would have been within the ambit of the federal government. But now that we had sent it down, if we were to retain it now, it would be in violation of the Constitution. So therefore, it was not possible. The other thing is that aapne farmaya that the examinations will be different. There is a intra-board chairman's committee which has its secretariat in Islam. And all the chairmen of the various boards throughout Pakistan are members of that committee. That committee meets every 3 months to look at the various problems that keep arising in the various boards and try and settle them and maintain a harmony amongst them. That committee is still there. So there will be no deviation in terms of the board examinations that are taking place. They will continue to take place as they have been. The chairmen will continue to meet. If there is any discrepancy which is there, they in those meetings will be able to solve it. The Inter-Provincial Ministry has initiated another forum, and that is that it is in the process right now of talking to the 4 provincial ministers that at their convenience, either every 3 months or 6 months, they should meet, and the rotation should be from one provincial capital to the other, so that the meeting can be chaired by each of the provincial ministers. And in that meeting, they can look at their issues. And if there is any glaring disparity, they can every 3 months or 6 months sit down and sort it out. The third and the final place which is available is the Council of Common Interest. The Council of Common Interest, which was introduced by Shahid Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, we have further strengthened that. And if any of the provinces feel, or the federal government feels, that any province is transgressing or is introducing a curricula or a syllabi which is not in accordance with what it should be, then the federal government can raise this issue over there. And there you have the highest executive leadership of the country in terms of the 4 chief ministers, in terms of the Prime Minister who chairs that meeting. So the checks and balances are present. The question of equivalence of degrees is not to be bothered. Sir, this was a vested interest, massive propaganda, which was let loose on devolution. We had, let me just take 2 minutes on this issue, because I know it's bothering a lot of people. We had very thoroughly discussed the question of the HEC, and we had invited the HEC to us not once but twice or thrice. We had heard their point of view, and after hearing them, we had informed the HEC that it would not be possible for us to transgress the limits of the 18th Amendment. But we will see what can be preserved will be preserved. And we gave them, subsequently, we gave them 8 broad parameters that the HEC ordinance would be amended, and it would be amended keeping in view these 8 broad parameters. And when we sit down to draft the law, we will again take you on board, and we will discuss and finalize the draft in your presence. That included the equivalence of degrees. We had said that the equivalence of degrees would still remain with the HEC. The maintenance of standards of faculty would still remain with the HEC, and so on. The basic factor, the basic question that had arisen was that as a consequence of the 18th Amendment, the universities have gone down to the provinces. And as you are well aware yourself, sir, most of the universities already have provincial charters. Their chancellors are the governors. They have provincial charters. There are only a few federal universities, and those federal universities continue to remain in the federation. We have not said that their charters are to be changed. Since the universities have gone down to the provinces, the funding which was being done by the federal government, this is a misnomer. The HEC does not generate a single penny on its own. The HEC was only acting as a conduit in terms of the money that was being given down to the provinces, down to the universities. It was just being funneled through them. And in that meeting in the commission, we had invited the vice chancellors, and I think there were about 25 of the vice chancellors who came to that meeting, and we told the vice chancellors that the federal government has decided that it is going to continue to pick up the bill that it is already doing so. The only thing is that instead of the HEC giving you the money, it will now come to you through the provinces. And the provinces will, and we also assured them, that the provinces will not be able to use your money under any other head, because it will come specifically under your head. So therefore, it cannot be spent anywhere else. It will have to come straight and direct to you. So to that extent, I think it's not going to have that big an impact. and there's been a lot of misconception which has been created around it. But still, if there are certain issues that are in your mind, we can take them up. Very quickly on the question of judicial review. Judicial review is inherent, sir. And the Supreme Court, the independence of the judiciary has been guaranteed in the Constitution. It has been further...
There is no fresh, there is no express.
So there is no express, but I don't think it is required.
That's
A express provision to that extent, in my personal view, is not required, because under Article 199, under the suo motu provisions of the Constitution, that power is already there with the judiciary. They are exercising that power, and there was a provision in the Constitution which could have been used which could have been used to pressurize the judges. That was in terms of their transfers. The 18th Amendment has removed that now. So the executive has no hold whatsoever on the judiciary, and I think particularly after the judicial movement, the situation has totally taken on a different dynamics, and I don't think there is any room for a rollback, and there should be no rollback, because if a judiciary is weak, then neither democracy will benefit from that, nor will the state. So we are committed to a strong and vibrant
Yes, sir.
judiciary.
Yeah,
Doctor, please.
Sir, finally, मेरे साहब के जो दो questions थे, one was dealing with the civil-military relations. This आपको इस बात का illusion है कि this has been a very troublesome and very seesawed relationship, and really no solutions have been found. And it has always been a very unequal equation, which has been always in the favor of the military bureaucracy. And for that, I would say that to a great extent we ourselves are to blame, because we've never really shown a unity of purpose in those terms, and we've always looked for shortcuts to come into power, and therefore we have always fallen prey to that. But I think I would tend to agree with what Khattak Saab has said. The ground realities and the dynamics that have now entered into Pakistan's foreign polity are totally different. And if at all, one can say that there was a silver lining of the Musharraf period, then I think that was the massive exposure that the military bureaucracy had to undergo during Musharraf's period has brought about a fundamental change in the thinking of the intellectual in Pakistan and of the middle classes. And this was because he filled up the civil bureaucracy with military officers, and the militarization of the civil bureaucracy brought about the total exposure. And I think that we have to now take it up from there. And then subsequent events after that also. So I think that still an equation has not been found. A suitable equation has not been found. But I think we are gradually inching towards it. I think we're gradually inching towards that, but I would not like to mislead you by saying that yes, all the questions have been found. I think that there is now there is a greater understanding, maybe to an extent in some fields, civilian or political, I won't use the word supremacy, but to a limited extent, oversight has crept in, but then it fluctuates back and forth. But I think that a beginning has been made. The ground is ripe. The people are aware. Intellectuals of Pakistan and the media are conscious. And I think that over a period of time, if the democratic system survives and goes on, we would be able to come to a final solution. As far as the party is concerned, I don't think any individual after Shaheed Mohtama is competent enough. And therefore it has to be now a collective leadership, a collective wisdom that will take the party.
In the form of
Thank you very much for that answer. My thanks to Dr. Ved Sheikh Sahab, Mia Afzal Khan Sahab, Lad Sahab ne bolna hai. Bhaiya, do minute. Please, I know. Mia Afzal Khalid Sahab, very senior politician, former president, chairman of Federal Council of Pakistan People's Party. Samit Iqbal Sahab, Sajjad Bhatt Sahab from HMC, Nupsa ke yahan pe Sara Aslam and their colleagues, the journalists, ladies especially, Abda Haq and others, Subiya Shahzad. And can I now invite Lord Qurban Sen to conclude the meeting, and then let's have a break and carry on talking on all the issues. Lord Qurban Sen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harry Saab. He always gets hold of me at the last minute, and this is perhaps the third time this week that he's done that towards the end of the day, when I have worked almost 10, 12 hours a day. He get hold of me and to sit for another 2 hours. Anyway, it was very enlightening for me to listen to Senator Rabbani Saab. I have not had the chance of listening to him in the past. I can't blame anybody else for that, because I have not lived in Pakistan since I was 14 years of age. And therefore I have lived most of my life in this country. And I'm always interested in knowing what is happening in Pakistan. And particularly, I have to give credit to this new party government and the difficult time that it came into power, and the kind of things that it has managed to achieve with all the difficulties, with the war against terror and lawlessness and the legacy of the military rule, everything that it has, against it when it came into power. But nevertheless, if you look at the issues that it has dealt with all the difficulties, I think it needs to be said that there's a credit due to this government, and particularly I think the reconciliatory approach that this government has taken towards the other political parties in different regions. I think that is a very good indication that the Pakistani nation can come together when they require. Yes, there are difficulties, but I think they are held together for 4 years, and which is a very good indication. And I hope that the democracy will not be derailed again. This is the real danger. Always Pakistan is sitting outside Pakistan. Do think that every now and then the democracy is derailed, and then we start again. Let's hope that this does not happen again. I have to say a couple of things though. जो मैं उर्दू में इसलिए कहना चाहूँगा कि जो लोग सुनेंगे जो उनके कुछ मतलब है वो ये है कि पाकिस्तान के जो गरीब लोग हैं उनको इस चीज़ों से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। सूबों के पास कितने अख्तियारात हैं, मर्द के पास कितने अख्तियारात हैं, नहीं हैं, और क्या है, महंगाई जो है उसने गरीब आदमी का जीना हराम कर दिया। मैं पाकिस्तान जो है वो रिसेंटली होता है वहाँ लोग थाना कचहरी और पटवारी का जो राज है वो आज तक नहीं बदला है, चाहे वो किसी भी मदेराशाही है। अब ये जो मामलात हैं मेरे ख्याल में गवर्नमेंट को इसकी तरफ गवर्नमेंट को इस तरफ खसूसी तवज्जो देनी चाहिए। और एक बात जो बाहर बैठे हुए हम लोग परेशान हो रहे हैं वो है कि पाकिस्तान का इमेज, वो पाकिस्तान के आप एक
करप्ट नेशन नंबर 1 होने के लिए भाग रहे हैं। कभी 50 नंबर दिया, 48 आ गए, 45 आ गए, 30 आ गए, 28 आ गए, क्या हो रहा है? हम क्यों भाग रहे हैं उस तरफ कि एक न एक दिन हमने जरूर नंबर 1 करप्ट नेशन इन द वर्ल्ड होना है। खुदा के लिए अपनी इमेज को बेहतर कीजिए। और इस हालत में कौन जाएगा पाकिस्तान में, एक लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशन है, और फिर इस किस्म की जो आपका इमेज है, कौन वहाँ जाकर के इन्वेस्ट करेगा? ये बहुत सारी बात है। बहरहाल मैं इन्हीं अल्फाज के साथ
Thank you very much, everybody, and can I give a big hand to our two guests for talking, and once again, thank you everybody.
Cheers, Amia, Amna Rabani.